Spend a joyous Christmas with Barbie and Ken in this modern musical retelling of the Nutcracker Suite. We're talking Barbie. Hit it. It was the 1980s. John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate President Reagan. Salt and Peppa pushed it, and Barbie lived her best life with holiday adventures and outfits. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me are two Totally Rad Christmas all-stars. My first guest, you'll know from Take a Chic Peek, it's Charlyn Lewis. What's happening?
Hello, thank you for having me.
How are you doing? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been a while. I've been doing good. Yeah, much better. Thanks
right on. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you since the red carpet.
Yes, that was the last time we saw each other. That was the last time I've probably been outside. So I'm glad.
Well, if it's anything like the heat we're having down here, I completely get it. So
yeah, trying to hide from it.
That's right. Yeah, for real. Now, my next guest, you'll know from the Magic of the Season podcast. It's Ashley Dunbar. Ashley, how are you?
Hey, Jerry. I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
You know, I can't complain. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's only because it's so hot. So
I was going to say, I think you were just complaining, were you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I might throw it in there every once in a while. Just it's hot, guys. You're so lucky to not be in Texas right now.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
Now, we're here to talk about Barbie today, but before we jump into it, we're going to do my brand new segment, Hit Me with the Toaster. So this is where I ask you guys some questions, and I want you to hit me with the first answer you can think of, okay? Just off the top of your head. You don't have to think too hard about these. Just whatever whatever pops in your brain, just go ahead and spit it out. All right, so question number one. If you could replace a character from Christmas Vacation with Barbie, who would it be?
A grandmother.
Okay.
That was the first thing that popped into my head because she's usually the first person I think about. Yeah, let's just put Skipper in there.
Okay, right on. Ashley?
Yeah, the daughter. I don't know what her name is, but definitely the daughter.
Okay, I dig it. Those are good choices. Yeah. All right. Which dog would you rather spend Christmas with? Snoopy from A Charlie Brown Christmas or Max from How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Snoopy. I prefer Snoopy. Not that I like Max as well, but Snoopy's just like fun and mischievous, and yeah, I pick Snoopy.
Maybe because I'm biased because The Grinch is one of my favorite movies, but Max, and that's because he can pull a sleigh. Like, what kind of dog?
That's true.
What? Yes. Why wouldn't you want a dog that can pull a sleigh? Like, it's just that's right. The Max of all trades, right there.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Last one. So you're going to Barbie's Christmas party. What party food do you bring?
Fruitcake.
Okay. I mean, that fits completely in with what we heard. We'll get there.
I'm definitely bringing the margaritas.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Not food, but we don't need food because Barbie is just air. So
that's true.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Correct.
So I asked like my daughter this, my 11-year-old, and she was like, pizza.
Yeah, I like that answer as well.
So that's what I said.
I love pizza.
Can't go wrong with pizza. It works.
At all. Yep.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So today we're here to talk about Barbie.
Christmas with Barbie. Christmas with Barbie. Can you think of any better way?
And it's so fitting because like Barbie just came out in theaters.
Came out this weekend.
Like the 90s kid in me is just loving every second of it. I'm so excited to see it.
Or I guess when this drops, because this is going to drop next Monday. So it came out last weekend. So
It came out last weekend.
Yes.
it did really well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't.
It's sold out. You can't physically get in anywhere. Like
Oh,
at all.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, where you're at? Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
crazy. And I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. I heard the pre-screen, like people who went to go see this pre-screen. Actually, I was looking at who was it? It was Tis a podcast that posted it, or I don't know if it was Tom or Anthony.
Maybe Anthony.
Yeah, and
Anthony.
they had posted like a
He's
thing
always
about
at
it and
movies.
said that it was actually like generally very good. So I'm interested to see it.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
definitely was worried about it. So I think the nostalgia makes me want the movie to be so much, but
Right.
I probably could be very disappointed because of that.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And apparently it's very meta as well. Like the whole thing is just a real meta kind of bit, which is strange because the Christmas album that we're going to be talking about tonight as well is also very meta. It's like you can't have a good Barbie story without being meta, I guess. I don't know, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
I love that humor. So I'm into it. I'm into it. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of it all, let's talk about your personal experience, like your history. What do you remember about Barbie?
So like Barbie for me was big because I was like a bit of a tomboy growing up. So I always got a lot of the hand-me-downs from my two older brothers.
Okay.
And as much as I was I think I was a tomboy more by like just because I got my brother's hand-me-downs. That when it came to like when I started to like Barbies, it was like I finally got something of my own. So like when I got Barbie, it was because it was gifted to me, or like, my parents went out and bought it for me because I, did something good or whatever. So Barbie for me started off as like like I get new things. And it was so new and exciting for me. It also like sparked a little bit of like femininity in me that I obviously didn't know that was there. And something that I loved was when you're younger, like boys play with Barbies too. And then there comes a point where like they start like slowly shifting away from that. And it's kind of like nice to see like when, like kids nowadays, they still do it. And it's kind of nice that like you have that like childlike innocence where you get to see them actually play and be imaginative. And that's what I miss about it, because it, did a lot of that for me. And also my brothers played with their like G.I. Joe, dolls.
Yeah. I had some of those.
We played together. It like gave us a
Exactly.
creative space. So, to get a little bit more like on the touchy side, that's why I loved Barbie, but also like it kind of gave me the realization that I was like a girly girl, just like deep down. And it took like Barbie to kind of bring it out in me, and then bring on all the pink stuff for me for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Thanks to Barbie.
Well, okay. So I do have to ask,
Yes.
Okay. One thing I've noticed with my daughters when they play with Barbie is they never seem to be wearing any clothes. Like they're always changing their clothes, and then you find clothes everywhere. And was that a familiar experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 100%. And also because like I would throw them in the bath too. So like I would just, you just throw them in the bath and then they dry off, and then you put clothes on them optional. Like it just made it easier to throw on like I have this cool dress I'm going to throw on, or always with one shoe, because you can never find
You can never find the other shoe.
No.
Yes.
And it's worse than Lego. It is worse than Lego. I can guarantee you, if you stepped on that thing, you would absolutely think something was trying to murder you.
Can confirm. Yep.
Yes, I can confirm. Dad Series 101. I
That's
definitely
right.
can confirm that.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those. So I actually don't. I mean, because I'm the oldest of three boys, so it was all boy stuff at our house. I only know Barbie from like some of my cousins, and because my mom was the youngest, most of my cousins were all grown up. So the closest, like in our age, was 2 years older than me. So sometimes we'd go to their house, and my cousin Belle would be playing with Barbies, but most of the time we'd just go outside and run around and play tag or whatever. So I didn't have a lot of experience with Barbies until my daughters, but I remember buying them for like girls that were throwing, would have a party, birthday parties. It's like, well, what do you get a girl? I don't know, Barbie. Okay. I mean, I didn't know any better, I mean, so,
Absolutely.
but then I remember in like 91 or so, G.I. Joe came out with those 12-inch figures, and they were about the same size as Barbie. And so my son would play with those while my daughter played with the Barbies, and then they'd play together, just like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And it was, I feel like Barbie's just kind of universal. Everybody knows, there's Barbie, there's Ken. It's like peanut butter and jelly, I guess. I don't know.
See, like, I guess I wanted to tell this story. I forgot that I wanted to tell this story, but like something that always reminds me, like when I think of Barbie and I think of that, like that hold that it had on me, more so because, so I had this specific Barbie. It was like a haircut. It was a hairdressing Barbie.
Oh, okay.
And you could cut its hair, and then you would be able to like, Velcro hair back on into like the back of her head. So you could always like cut it and play with it. So I loved that Barbie so much. But my brothers burnt her hair like with a lighter. Oh yeah. Just burnt to crap. And I was so like, I just remember feeling so terrible. I was like, they're like, how could somebody that loves you do this to you? Like, I was like, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7. And I just remember feeling so terrible. So my dad was so mad at them, so mad. And also because like, we didn't have money just to go out and like buy stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So my dad, one day he got me in the car and we started driving. I was like, Dad, where are we going? And he's like, well, we're going to a special place. Like, you'll see. So we drove downtown Toronto. There was a Mattel like showcase place in downtown Toronto. Okay. And you could buy specific accessories that you could never get in stores. So my dad took me to go and like get some accessories for this Barbie that like, and I just thought I was in freaking heaven. Like I was in cloud 9, in this place, and I got to like get accessories and get a bunch of like stuff. And I had totally forgotten about the debacle and my brothers like absolutely breaking my heart. But, so it kind of gave me like a moment with my dad. And also like, I will always remember how cool it felt to go into that Mattel store. Like it was like how when Kevin goes into, oh God, what's that store called in, Home Alone?
Duncan. Oh, Duncan's Toy Chest.
Duncan's, that's right. Yeah, when he goes in there, that's how I felt in Mattel. I was like, oh my God.
What about you, Charlyn? Do you remember, what do you remember about Barbie?
Okay, so I did actually used to collect the holiday Barbies.
Oh, nice.
I think I was at like a really like the 80s and 90s where I feel like really big for Barbie. So I definitely got a lot of that. But my mom used to get me the holiday Barbie. I was too old to be playing with Barbies. I literally kept them in the box. I just liked having them. They were so cute. And I asked her when we were going to do this episode, when you first asked, if she knows where they are, because I have no idea where they are ever since I like moved out of my home years ago. And we don't know what happened to my Barbie collection, but I actually kept them like in good condition too. But that's what I remember. It's like collecting holiday Barbie.
That's funny because my mom did the same thing. She collected Barbies. It was the holiday one. She collected, I think, Coca-Cola Barbies as well. Anything Coca-Cola. And so that was like her big thing. It was her and her friend, who it turns out actually is related to us somehow. It was like, one of those you're like, oh, okay, we're like third cousins. Pretty cool. We had no idea. But yeah, it's like they would go to these different shows and they would collect the Barbies. And I remember in her closet just full, her closet just full of holiday Barbies. And of course, holiday Barbie started in 1988. That's when the first one came out. And then, which looking at the doll now and looking at the ones that they have, that are new, it's like, ooh, we've come a long way, haven't we? Fashion wise.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I remember my mom collected them and it was like a big thing. So Barbie started in 1959 by Mattel, like you were saying. It was actually a kind of a takeoff of a particular German doll called Bild Lily. And it, in fact, Mattel was sued over they claimed that they had stolen or infringed on their copyright and patent for this the leg joint kind of hip joint thing. Anyway, it settled out of court. Everything went well, but Ruth Handler was the one that I guess came up with the idea and started developing it. She saw that her daughter Barbara, oh, get it, was playing with these little baby dolls, but doing more grown-up type things, and she thought there's nothing on the market, so let's come out with something. And she's the one really responsible for bringing Barbie to the US and creating her. First one, of course, had that black and white swimsuit underneath, and then you could change it. And I guess as the years went by, they kind of stopped that, and she was more naked. which as we were saying earlier, my daughters just have all their Barbies all naked with clothes everywhere. So it's
it's amazing how like used to always want the clothes for Barbie, and most of the time I think Barbie would end up naked with like trying to change outfits, and then you just like you're done playing, and then Barbie's just naked until the next time you play again.
I just think poor thing.
Exactly. But it's like what's so awesome about Barbie is that she can be anything. You know, she's like there's astronaut Barbie, there's like scientist Barbie, there's doctors, there's teachers, there's president Barbie, there's like just anything you can think of. It's like sending a really good message to young ladies, and I'm glad my daughter's into it because, you know, it's like you can do anything that you put your mind to. If you really want to be this, go for it. And I think that's really cool. I mean, Barbie, there's, what was it? Barbie and the Rockers?
Dancing Barbie and the Rockers. Dancing stars, the Rockers really move. Dana, Dee Dee, Diva, Derek Crew. Dancing Barbie and the Rockers.
Yeah.
When Gem came out, and you know, and then they kind of got wind that Hasbro was going to do Gem, and so Mattel came out with Barbie and the Rockers like as fast as possible, and completely, unfortunately, blew Gem out of the water as far as toy sales go. The Gem cartoon, by the way, is still awesome, but but you know, it was like Barbie and the Rockers was a big thing, and Barbie pretty much dominated everything in girls' toys until Bratz came out in like 2001, and then they started really having some competition there. And so, you know, they came out with their own like fashionistas line, and then of course we can't talk about Barbie without talking about the image issues associated with Barbie. But they started coming up with other body types as well. And so my same thing, my daughter even has some of those. And so it's like, I like how they're trying to embrace it all. You know, the first Hispanic Barbie was in 1980. They had African-American Barbies before that. I mean, it's like, that's cool. I mean, to me, it's cool. It's, you know, I'm like a Transformers kid. So, you know, it's like talking giant robots. I mean, that's awesome. But like Barbie is that's a whole nother thing, and it actually is meaningful.
It's really cool too, the like the toys that you play with, especially dolls like that, when they start looking like you. And my mom always I always had all different races of Barbies, but if she could find one that looked like me, she would wait in line for it. So, but yeah, that it's always cool that that when companies are trying to be more inclusive like that, but especially for kids, like little girls, like
One thing that's not really talked about is a little boy body image, which usually is not a big thing until the He-Man toys came out, and they're like ridiculously muscular, you know, just this jacked dude, and it's like, well, I want to be He-Man, but. No, I think just anything that we can do to empower young ladies, to empower young boys, just, I think it's worthwhile. And so I have to really applaud Mattel for like jumping on that and making it happen.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we get Kid Stuff Records, who comes out with a Barbie Christmas album that is painful. But I'm sure I've seen a lot of comments and people really love this album. So I'm going to be as positive as I can about this album.
It was interesting to listen to. I'll say that. I'd never heard of it before, so it was the first time I ever, like, my first listen at 42. And I was like, I wonder what I would have felt if I heard it like when it came out.
Right.
But yeah, it was interesting to listen to.
Be like, I always find that when it comes to like, especially stuff that I do like for Jerry, I always find I do it in a way.
Oh no, she's blaming me.
I actually listen 2 separate times and in 2 mind frames. And I think I've like talked about this before. It's like I listen very firstly in a mind frame of like, had I had been in this era, or had I had been a kid and listened to this, how would I have I would have like, that's how I thought. I was like, yo, I would have loved this so much. And as a kid, I would have sat there and listened to it. Then I listened to it in like an adult aspect. And I was like, this is painful. Absolutely. If my kid was in the car, I would throw it on the highway. That's how
oh no, I accidentally dropped it out the window. I'm so sorry.
Oops. That's you.
Yeah. But you're right. So Kid Stuff Records, all their stuff is ridiculously kiddie. Like it's they're not trying at all to make it more adult, which is fine because kids need that as well. Listening to it now, going back, it's a lot like watching some of the older shows and cartoons that I loved as a kid that just they hold up nostalgically. They don't quite hold up like story wise or anything like that, as far as that goes. Yeah, so there was actually two Barbie records. One of them had songs incorporated into it. That's the Barbie Christmas album that we heard on YouTube. And then there was another one called Barbie's Christmas Party, which was just a book on tape. There were no actual songs. They would just read the book and you would follow along. So the whole thing was they were designed to help kids learn to read and get familiar with reading and kind of want to read as well.
Did it make you want to read, Jerry?
It made me so want to read. But I do got to say, so when I found out there was a second one, I scoured the internet to see if I could find a recording of it. I could not find a recording anywhere. However, I did end up buying it.
Nice.
And so it's Barbie's Christmas Party. And we'll talk about that story. I took pictures of it and sent it to y'all. We'll talk about that story a little bit too. It's no Stephen King.
No.
It's definitely.
It's exactly what you expect though from a Barbie book.
Exactly. Yeah. But I can't complain because I had some He-Man Kid Stuff records. I have Gremlins and a bunch of others. I mean, they were famous for licensing just as many properties as they could and just coming up with IP and with records for it. So let's go ahead and dive. This is from 1981. Yes. And you can tell it's from 1981 because a lot of the songs are very like Last Days of Disco.
Yes.
They're trying their hardest.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So the back of the album, it actually mentions that it was based on a Nutcracker, which I didn't really get a lot of Nutcracker vibes. I mean, the biggest thing is that they went to Toyland.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. But they really lean hard into this Nutcracker thing. I guess. I don't know.
I didn't get that at all.
Right? Yeah.
Get that.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to read. So on the cover, it's Barbie and Ken, and I imagine Skipper and maybe, I don't know if that's Skipper. Was Skipper the youngest one? Chelsea? I don't know.
I think Skipper was the youngest, but she looks
Ellie
younger.
Wasn't it the youngest one?
I think Chelsea's the youngest.
Maybe.
I might have been out of Barbie at that time.
Yeah.
To know who Chelsea was. I don't know them all.
Well, so it says you're invited to spend a wonderful song-filled Christmas with Barbie, Ken, and all their friends. It's a holiday treat you'll never forget. Yay! But on the back, if you go to the back of the album, it actually says, spend a joyous Christmas with Barbie and Ken in this musical modern retelling of the Nutcracker Suite, which again, I didn't get, but it says in Barbie's dream, she is transformed into a beautiful doll under the Christmas tree. When the toys come alive, Barbie and Ken are swept away on an adventure to the stars. They travel to Arcticana, a frozen planet, where they are trapped by the wicked Snow Queen. How they escape the icy world and return home safely makes for a fantastic adventure. You will love the songs. You will love the songs, excitement, and holiday fun of A Christmas with Barbie. So that's what it says all in the back. I think you're right. I think even if, as a little boy, if I had heard this as a kid, I would have been like, I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Give it to me. Give it all. I'm here.
Yeah. So Barbie and Ken are like getting ready to wrap presents, or they're finishing up, and Barbie decides she's tired. Let's go ahead and go to sleep. She opens a window, so there's a nice breeze. Do y'all sleep with the window open?
Sometimes.
I sleep with the AC on, but in the winter maybe.
I gotcha. I don't know if it's just because I'm so paranoid or I've listened to so much true crime podcasts. But it's like nope. Yeah. No window.
Sometimes
I don't care
like
how hot I am. I will lower the air. Yes. I'll turn the fan on. I'm not sleeping with the window open. So anyway, she falls asleep and she has this dream. She believes that she is under Christmas tree with these toys. And this was 1981, and Toy Story didn't happen until, the 90s. Mm-hmm. And even a Christmas toy didn't happen until, 86, 87. So it's like, I think Barbie, I think everybody ripped off Barbie. I think Barbie did it first.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they were first. They were first.
You know what though? Like when I listened to it, I just felt like the panic in her voice when she was like, like I'm this small thing, like the legs of the chair are so massive and I'm just this thing. And like, I was starting to feel a little anxious for her. I was like, yeah, girl, like I feel that I'm there. Like I'm small too. Like, okay, stop leaning on the small thing. We get it. Okay. You're small.
It didn't help that the Jack in the Box had like this crazy, like evil, just ridiculous voice.
Yes.
He's just laughing like maniacally. Yeah, it's like the Joker, it's just I mean, it was awful.
Hey, what's so strange about it? Oh, I know. You didn't think toys could talk, did you, my sweet?
Well, no, I didn't. But now, well, I'm not so sure.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. But he's like, we're all toys. Hey, this girl thinks she's human. Like, get a load of her. And luckily, a teddy bear who introduces himself as
Theodore Bear. But all my friends just call me Teddy.
And he begins to introduce everyone else. There's
Fifi, the French poodle.
There's
Tobar, the battery-powered robot.
Tovar, I don't know if it was a V or a B. I don't have the
B
book.
Because I think it's robot backwards.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
What?
Because it was like a robot voice. I listened to it.
Yeah, he was definitely a robot. He's definitely a robot because his like batteries overheat him or something, or his gears get all jacked up, and so he starts to like kind of attack. But yeah, so there's that's awesome. I totally didn't think of that. You're like blowing my mind.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's why, because I listened to it again. Like, what did they say? Yeah, Tobar.
Tobar, yeah. So Tobar, we're also introduced as Tobar starts to go crazy. We are introduced to Ken, Captain Ken. He's comes out in a spaceship, and he saves Barbie from being attacked by this robot. Now, this is after we get a song, and the song is Toyland. But I'm going to see if I can pull this up because
don't
hold on.
Do it.
No. We gotta hear this. Hold on.
It is the worst version of Toyland I've ever heard in my entire existence.
We start to hear this version of Toyland. There we go with the bass. Got to get that funky bass. Oh yeah. Get the synth stream.
Toyland, beautiful girl and boyland, land of pretty dollies, choo-choo,
This is not great. Yeah.
A little Donna Summer-esque, you know?
But like, at least Donna Summer still sounds good.
Right. They tried.
Yeah.
But they couldn't land it.
No, they really couldn't. The problem is I couldn't find out like who's actually singing on this, who's narrating. There's like nothing really at all about this except the composer of the original songs, Christmas with Barbie and The Snow Queen and Someone I Love was John Braden. Like that's all that I could find. He also produced the album. But I don't know who the performers were, and I don't know if it was listed in the actual packaging anywhere or not. So like the one that I do have, it doesn't say at all who the performers were, and I kind of feel bad, like they didn't at least get any credit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
like maybe they didn't want credit. Like,
I mean, that's possible. Yeah, I suppose that's possible.
I mean, like, okay, think about it. When you hear Toyland, what do you feel in your body when you hear Toyland as a song? Like, take away the song. I always feel like somber. I always feel like this, like very kind of like slow, like pull on it. And when I heard that, I thought like, whoa. Now you're just like changing the whole vibe of the song, and I'm not here for it.
Well,
can't get on board.
You're right. Toyland is usually really slow. Most versions, like even Johnny Mathis, I mean, it's really, or Perry Como, they're just
Perry Como's.
Yeah, very, very slow paced, and all of a sudden they kind of just jazzed it up and made it disco and put a cool beat behind it.
Made me uncomfortable. I was like, ugh.
But as a kid, I think I would have appreciated it more.
Exactly.
You know? Like usually, at least for me as a kid, I didn't really like any of the slow songs. So like Silent Night has become one of my all-time favorite Christmas carols because I would sing it as a lullaby when my son was a baby.
Yeah.
But before then, it was not really my favorite. We sang it like at every house that we Christmas caroled to. Even if we changed up everything else, we always sang Silent Night and Feliz Navidad. Like, you know, we would do a few others, but we had to sing those two. And so it was just like, Silent Night. But now I love Silent Night. Well, I kind of feel like that's how I would be. Like, you know, if I had heard this faster version of Toyland, I might have liked it more as a kid.
Yes.
I think it's perfect for kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in that respect, I think they did pretty well. So yeah, we get this version of Toyland. Tobor starts to go crazy and goes after Barbie. And this is where Ken actually manages to stop the rampaging robot. He lassos it kind of around the neck and around the tree trunk and is able to stop him before he can harm Barbie. And so she's like, "You saved my life." But when she sees him, he introduces himself as Captain Ken. She says, "There's something familiar about you." And then we get another song. I'm not going to play that one because it's not my favorite. And it doesn't really have anything to do with Christmas. But I do like immediately after that one, we get, and I'm going to do it to you again. I'm sorry.
Let's do it.
But we do get a version of Jingle Bells.
Yes, Jingle Bells.
And let's see, that is right.
Also, before you play this, can you please edit in Ken's introduction into the story?
For sure.
Because it's like and then from the cockpit of the starship, out comes this blah blah blah, and I was like, what are they explaining right now? Like, what is happening? And then it was like, out comes Captain.
Oh yeah, that'll go right here.
The cockpit of the rocket ship flew open and out leaped the astronaut.
Look, Teddy, it's the captain. He's going to save her.
Thank you.
But this is the disco-fied version of Jingle Bells.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle.
Listen to that bass. Like that bass can get it.
Oh, what fun it is to ride on a rocket into space.
Yeah, that's something there.
There's that, like, they just have to always bring that rocket ship in. They gotta always pull that in.
Yeah. Now, I promise that's the last one I am gonna play. So we'll stay for a while there. But yeah, it's like the craziest that, and I guess because it's like early 80s, you can get away from that. I think if it had come out more in like the mid 80s, it would have been just a little more not synth heavy, but they would have strayed from like disco and probably a little more like folky, or because I think a lot of those that I had like from 84, 85 were just a little more like kid songs rather than like popular songs.
Yeah, I think they were definitely just, it was the times. This is like showing the time that this came out for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, you do really get that like Chloe 70 Last Days of Disco kind of feel, you know. It's like it's completely dead, but we're gonna do our we come on, we can't let go yet.
Yeah. That's Barbie's vibe, it seems like, too, even with like just, oh, this is what's popular now. Us too. We're doing that too. So I feel like we're like kind of very in touch with what was popular and for and on trend, so that they could capitalize on that as well.
Yeah, you know,
I felt like they were trying too hard to be like Motown though. Like trying to be too hard. They were like, you know, just jumping on the same railroad or whatever. What do you call them? The same train tracks as Motown. Like I swear, it just has that vibe.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. So Barbie is like, I feel like I know you. Let's take a ride in my rocket, or can we go for a ride in your rocket ship? And Ken's like, hey, actually Ken offers, and Barbie's like, I was just thinking the same thing. And so they go for a ride. He's like, we'll just go to like this little planet over here, and it'll be all good, Arcticana. And so we'll see what happens there. And then they get into like a weird fossil fuel, natural resource squandering, like just talk about, well, they didn't use their fossil fuels correctly. I mean, it's strange, but at the same time, it's trying to teach. So, all right, I dig it. You know,
they went like so like, I don't know. It went like a little too far to where like I feel like a kid would probably tune out at that point. Like fossil fuels.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. It definitely would have been tuned out for sure.
Yeah.
Well, as an adult, I tuned it out. I'm not gonna lie. Same. But suddenly they're caught in like a tractor beam, and they're like brought down to the throne room of the Ice Queen or the Snow Queen.
Yes.
Yeah, and apparently she's very vain, and even though things look kind of scary, that Ken tries to appeal to her vanity.
Oh no, your glacial grandness. You mistake our nature. We are simple music lovers, and your beautiful voice is fabled to the farthest reaches of the universe.
Oh, is it really?
Why, of course. And we were hoping that you might favor us with one of your illustrious compositions.
Because she apparently loves to sing, and she writes songs, and so he gets her to sing a song. Again, not my favorite song. I think out of all of them, I probably like Christmas with Barbie the best. It's the one that got stuck in my head. All the others, Toyland and Jingle Bells, were just a little too disco-y for me. And I like disco, don't get me wrong, but they were a little too... This one was strange. And the Snow Queen really like tries to give it some gravel. And you can tell she's a good singer trying not to sing well. I don't know if y'all got that vibe. I got that vibe.
Yeah.
Like you could hear it in her voice.
trying to make herself sound more sinister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and so Barbie, you know, Ken's just like, oh, that was good. And Barbie's like, that was terrible. I mean, she just straight up like I can't lie to her. And Ken just starts trying to suck up to her. It's awful.
Yeah.
And so she calls her guards to like take them to the dungeons or something, and they just run, they just split. You know, cue this Scooby-Doo noise, and they hightail it out of there, and their ship is covered in ice and snow, and they have to like jettison some fuel from their engines that I guess to melt the ice, and they're hoping that they have enough to keep everything cool or to keep the engine cool, and they like take
Yes.
off. Yeah. But like this was just a weird aside. I don't understand like where this came from, especially if it's a takeoff on the Nutcracker. Like
Yeah.
they could have done something with like the Mouse King or
Yeah.
That's
love
okay.
that.
So when you said about the what's it called, about it being kind of like the Nutcracker, I immediately thought, okay, that tow bar thing, like I thought it was a little kind of like how the Rat King is like in the Nutcracker. How I thought, okay, well maybe that piece, but
Yeah.
everything else I was like, how are they even leaning on that at all as a
Yeah.
storyline?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could have just said it was a Christmas dream and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense at why it was so like kind of all over the place. It would have made sense. They're like, oh, it was just a dream.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So they manage to break free, but then their engines start to overheat and they're about to crash. And that's when Barbie wakes up. And, she's like, oh, well, my window was open. That's why I was so cold. Arctic planet. I get it. I mean, but the thing is, Captain Ken, in her dream, had given her
It's a little trinket I picked up as we were leaving the Snow Queen's castle. I thought you might want it as a souvenir.
Ken handed me the most beautiful necklace I had ever seen. On the end hung a crystal snowflake. It shimmered in the starlight.
And in real life, after her dream, when Ken comes over, he also gives her this actual necklace. And I don't know how, like, she knew, maybe she saw it subconsciously, accidentally, and it like slipped in there. I don't know, but she dreamed the exact present that that he was going to give her. And I've had a lot of like dreams that have come true later on, but never like a specific detailed little item. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Maybe they're trying to say like, Ken is just so into her that he could read her mind. He knew what she dreamt.
Oh, I like that.
I pulled that out of nowhere, but yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do y'all ship Ken and Barbie? Because like they're kind of on again, off again. And like I think now they're like just friends at the moment.
Okay, so I heard this interview that Ryan Gosling did recently.
Okay.
And it was like, they kind of said like, okay, like, how's being Ken up to Barbie? And he's just like, he said like, Ken is behind Barbie always. And he's okay with that. And like, Ken is there for Barbie to support her. And he's okay with that. Like he was doing it in like Ken's, I guess, vocabulary. But
Right.
as I was listening to that, I was like, that is so true, because like Ken has never, ever had like his own thing ever. It's always been Barbie and Ken, or
Right.
like Ken as an accessory. And I don't think Mattel or Barbie ever tried to play on Ken being more than Barbie ever.
Right.
And I think that it was so important for like people to hear that interview, because it really kind of put out like Ken is okay with being behind Barbie. And like,
Yeah.
and I thought that was pretty neat.
That is cool. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just because I don't really know that much about Barbie. I always thought they were together. Like I didn't know anything else, It was just like it was Barbie and Ken. Of course, Barbie is named after Ruth Handler's daughter, Barbara, and Ken is named after her son, Kenneth. So, these siblings are now kind of quasi dating. I don't know. That's just
that is weird.
Yeah, it's a little Jamie,
it's a little
Cersei
creepy.
Lannister. Yeah, it's a little Game of Thrones there. But it's a little strange. I'm not sure. But apparently they're, I guess as of right now, officially, according to Mattel, they are just friends and I think neighbors.
I think I always thought that he was just like, yes, that's her boyfriend, but not always. Like, even though I didn't think about it that specifically as a kid, like, I don't think I ever really was like, I mean, obviously it's like, I feel like they wanted to have, her male counterpart.
Right.
But through the years, it just seems like it was just more of an accessory, to be honest.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And it was like, that's, I think, how they kind of portray it. Ken is whatever Barbie is doing in her world at that time.
Yes.
It's like, oh, Ken is in here and he's adding to it. Or, so
that's cool. I always like Barbie better with G.I. Joe anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Totally red.
And we're here with special correspondent Kim Cooper from Planning for Christmas. Kim, how's it going?
It's going great, Jerry. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful now that I'm talking to you. It's been a long time. I'm glad to see you again. We have a very special topic today to talk about, though. We're here to talk about Barbie. And what do you remember about Barbie? Like, what's your experience with it?
Barbie was one of my absolute favorite toys. I happen to still have all my Barbies and clothes and the Barbie like 57 Chevy.
Really?
Yeah.
Keeping the clothes is something, because my daughters can never seem to keep their clothes on their Barbies ever. So the fact that you still have it, that's like miraculous to me.
Well, they have lots of different outfits. I like, that was one thing I played with all the time and like always wanted to get. If I could go to the toy store, I'd usually pick out something Barbie.
Nice.
And I also got in trouble a lot because I would make Barbie clothes using my mom's fabric, but instead of like using the edge of it, like you probably should, we used to cut like holes in the center and cut out what we want. Because you have this nice piece of fabric, and there'd be a Barbie clothes hole in it. So
that's awesome. That's like totally something I probably would have done. Just use like the middle of it and not even think about anything else. No,
that was the best part of it, and that's the part that you needed for your Barbie clothes.
Exactly. Yeah. So growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of experience with Barbie, except like whenever I was invited to a girl's birthday party and I would buy her a Barbie because I didn't know what girls played with, really. I was into like Transformers and G.I. Joe. So do you have a favorite Barbie? Like, is there any ones in particular that you really remember?
So one of my favorite Barbies was Peaches and Cream Barbie.
Okay.
Here's new Peaches and Cream Barbie doll. Data and I can doll so separately.
Gorgeous.
We girls can glow from head to toe. Right, Barbie? Peaches and Cream Barbie. Ah, no, luscious soul. What a look. Ken is hooked. Caught up in a whirl of a peach creamy girl. We girls can do anything. Right, Barbie?
Peaches and Cream Barbie doll comes with change around stroll and everything you see here. Ken doll sold separately. New from Mattel.
And she had this beautiful dress, and like the top of it was like metallic kind of white and kind of pinkish, like maybe like an opal with like pinks and purples.
Oh, nice.
And like the dress was like peach, like very like frilly and just beautiful material. So that was one of my favorites. She had this really pretty boa that went with the dress. And then I also really loved like Totally Hair Barbie, because that was like a really cool one.
You've got the longest hair ever.
Totally hot, totally cool, totally hair Barbie. Comb it out, add some depth, gel it, scrunch it, now you're set. Make it fun, make it now. Hair so long, it's totally wow. Totally hair, totally hot, totally cool, totally hair Barbie. You've got something special. Whoa.
Totally Hair Barbie doll has blonde or brunette hair down to her toes and comes with depth styling gel. Dolls each sold separately.
What does that do? Is like you can put her hair in different things?
Yeah, she had like super long hair, and like there was one version where like her hair could like wind up in her head. As weird as that sounds.
Okay.
So you could have like different hairstyles, short and then like long hairstyles.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then my other like all-time favorite was Dream Glow Barbie. And she like her dress was like white and it had stars and was like white and purple and glowed in the dark.
Oh.
And then she had like this beautiful, all these accessories that went with this. So like this beautiful canopy bed that like had the same material as her dress. And like, yeah, that was one of my other favorites.
That's super good. They all seem very 80s. Like in the 80s, a lot of the toys had like crazy gimmicks. So there was like holograms or the transformer that had a little man that could transform as well that you'd put it, all these different things.
Wow.
And that seems a lot like some of the ones you're talking about with the hair that winds up in her head. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, and like one of my other favorites, I loved like Barbie and the Rockers. Like around kind of the same time as Gem, I think. And so
they actually found out that Gem was coming out, and so they rushed Barbie and the Rockers to beat Gem out. And
and I still kind of know part of the theme song. So I get that in my head, and then like Garfield, because you did that podcast recently. I keep singing that theme song too. So
but I think it was like Barbie and the Rockers or something like that. That's all I remember.
It was pretty catchy. So
that's awesome. What about holiday Barbies? Did you have any of those?
I don't think I ever had any of the actual holiday Barbies, but I know like I always loved them and they were always so beautiful. My grandma used to collect the Hallmark Barbie ornaments. So she had like a whole bunch of those, and so you could see like the holiday Barbies in those because they used to do more holidays. But I remember just always seeing them, and their dresses were always so beautiful, Christmassy. I would get Barbies for Christmas and my birthday because my birthday is just a few days before Christmas, but I don't remember specifically getting one of the holiday Barbies because I feel like back then those were more like you had to keep in the box.
Right.
And you shouldn't take out of the box. And I wanted to always play
that's not fun to a kid. No, that's awesome. And I remember like my mom and my aunt and my mom's cousin. Well, it was her friend, but turned out she's related to us. She used to collect them as well. Like they would all go out, and I think my mom had like the first 8 or 9 of them all, but she had them on display. It was like, no, we can't. You don't touch those. So.
Recently, I think I saw like on a Facebook marketplace, there's this lady somewhere nearby who is getting rid of like a bunch of those like holiday and just other special Barbies. Like they used to make the world, like the around the world ones.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of that. And she was like selling all of those and had like, I would say probably a couple hundred Barbies. It seemed like she just kind of posted a picture of like the whole group. And I kind of wanted just to go like look at them, not like buy,
right.
Kind of take a walk down memory lane. But she still had them all in boxes. And
wow, that's cool. My aunt, when my daughter was maybe about 4 or 5, and she was really into Barbie at the time, and my aunt used to collect the Coca-Cola Barbies, and so she had one that she gave my daughter, and she was wearing some kind of. She kind of looked 60s, but not really. Like she had like checkered pants, but they were that short kind of like capri pants.
Yeah.
And like a jean vest, I remember something like that. but she had like little Coke bottles, and so I thought that was kind of cool that Barbie had all sorts of accessories like the way G.I. Joe had accessories.
Yeah, and there was like that kind of reminds me. I had like the Barbie soda fountain shop, so like it
really.
Yeah, so I think it came with Coke bottles, and then you had like you could make like ice cream floats and just different fun things. I had I think my parents must have got it at the garage sale, but I think it was like the 70s like Barbie dream house because it was like it was like the orange and brown and like off-white colors, and it
that sounds 70s or early 80s,
kind of like an A-frame, like A-frame shape. It was giant, but I remember having that and like love that and wish I still had that. But
yeah, that's super cool. That's like I remember when I got Castle Grayskull, and it was like the best thing in the world. It's very similar. It's like I imagine the Barbie dream house is like the Castle Grayskull equivalent,
Definitely, for sure.
Right on. Well, so I sent you one of the Barbie Christmas albums, and it was interesting. Had you heard of it before?
I had not, unless like when I was little, but I don't think so. You and I have like been on a lot of podcasts with like Christmas albums of things.
I'm sorry. Sometimes the things that I want to talk about, the only way they're available is on these like kid stuff albums. That's the only kind of tie-in I can do. So I'm sorry, but
that's okay because it's been like a fun journey. But like this one, was interesting. Like it wasn't as bad as I believe the strawberry shortcake one, which was just weird, but it was kind of along those lines because it like was very loosely Christmassy.
Yeah.
But you also sent the pictures of like the book that was with the record.
I did,
and that was a cute story. It was like really cute and Christmassy. Like Barbie just talking about getting gifts for your friends, like giving tips of like, you don't have to get an expensive gift. You can, like just get something they like even a picture of you and your friend or whatever. Or you don't have to, you can make your own ornaments and kind of describe that. And it was like, that was a cute story that the record
was
out of this world. Spoilers. No.
She'll be here all week, folks. Tip your waitress. But like, I completely agree. Because I couldn't find an audio of the other one, so I ended up buying it. I haven't gotten a chance to digitize it. I probably won't before this episode drops. But I took the pictures of the story that comes with it. It's one of those read-alongs where you listen to the story. So did I. I still have some of my old He-Man and Gremlin and Star Wars ones, like about 2 feet from me.
Nice.
But like that's kind of how it was. You'd listen to the story, you'd kind of follow along, and that's like a good way to start interest in reading, and start learning some words like as well, some of the vocabulary. But I agree, that one was so much better. It was just charming, and Barbie's having a party, and then she doesn't know what to do, and then the Christmas carols, and it's just like fun and heartwarming.
Yeah.
But so Barbie, you're right, gives a lot of tips. How do you think that would apply, or would any of those tips like be good for like your show, planning for Christmas, where you start thinking about ways to, just help and get ready for the holidays?
Yeah, I think, like definitely with the gift buying, I think like just thinking about, like we always want to spend a lot of money at Christmas because we just have it kind of ingrained in our society that you just have to get lots of gifts. But in this case, like it was the more heartfelt gifts that she did. So she knew one of her friends was like an artist, so she got her some paints, and the other liked to read, so she got her a book. She got Ken a picture of her and Ken. And then like, was it Skipper and which her Skipper and I can't remember the name.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the names.
Yeah, but she got like them like roller disco tickets.
Oh yeah,
the most expensive, but also
that dates it really bad. That's early 80s right there.
Was it Skipper and Scotty or something cute like that? But like roller disco tickets, which probably weren't all expensive back then, but also like I think Skipper is like at some points in time was her sister, so you might spend a little more on your sister.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true.
And then just the other part would be like, like you don't have to spend the money on the decorations, or you could be creative and have fun.
Right.
And even like the party she was hosting, they were just gonna like have hot chocolate and play games and kind of keep things simple and just be with friends.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go all out on the holidays and do everything. Just kind of keep things simple and fun.
Well, especially because the holidays are so hectic nowadays. There's like a million different things to do. You're usually going to a bunch of different functions for work or your church or whatever it is. So I kind of like the more intimate settings like that.
Yeah. And it was like her, and there was like 4 or 5 total people. Like it was just a nice small party with friends, and they were exchanging gifts and just getting to have fun, and they got to go caroling. And
that's the part because that's one of our family's traditions. That's the part that I really liked. Okay, so Ken, you mentioned it earlier. She gives Ken a picture frame with her and Ken in it. Are you team like Ken and Barbie together, or more like Ken and Barbie just friends?
When I played like Barbies, like they always like we're a couple. So
okay.
I think they're a couple.
Yeah, that's kind of where I lean. I think officially right now, because they've gone like back and forth throughout the years, I think officially right now they're just friends. But I'm in the Barbie and Ken I ship Barbie and Ken pretty bad.
Yeah, like it's like the Mickey and Minnie situation, you know. They're
Yeah.
a couple and they'll always be a couple. And you don't, for like the purposes of like a show or something, like especially a kids show, you don't necessarily need them to get married, but like
Right.
that's how we always played. I think even one of my Kens was like a groom and had like a tuxedo and
okay.
Powder blue, but
powder blue.
Know.
That's no, that's definitely 80s right there.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Oh goodness. Now I'm just picturing Ken and powder blue. Okay, I love it.
I'll dig through my stuff and have to find that for you and send
that's
you
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Powder blue tuxedo.
So the other album that I sent you, the one where you can actually find on YouTube, and I'll post the link, of course, in the show notes. But that one, the album itself says that it's a play on the Nutcracker, but I don't really see how it is, except that they go to Toyland for a little bit and she's under the tree. Other than that, it's like not really Nutcracker at all.
I didn't really see that. I don't know, like, because it was just so weird.
Yeah, it was.
I don't, because she just like finds herself under the tree and she's a toy, and then the toys are like kind of weird. You know what it reminded me a little more of is that really strange like Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it just kind of reminded me a little more of like that. It was just kind of all bizarre and all over the place. They sang like Toyland, which I know like they try to say that's a Christmas song. It's not one of my, it's like
it's not one of my favorites either. Yeah. Yeah. It's so that actually, yeah. I mean, that's a whole thing. We won't get into it. But no, it's not one of my favorite either.
Go listen to this version of it, guys. It's
yeah, and it's all like
operatic
disco,
but also operatic.
It's like classical, almost like classically trained singers trying to sing disco together, and it's weird. Yeah, but if you're gonna listen to a version of Toyland, listen to the Barbie one. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I thought, I guess, part of it, I did think she was kind of they did have good kind of voice acting in it, kind of. Not like somewhere they're just monotone. Like Barbie was sometimes overly.
Yeah, you could tell it was for kids. Yeah.
But yeah, the characters the story was just hard to follow, and I don't know. I feel like that record probably didn't come with a storybook to look at.
I don't.
With it. So
I'm not positive, actually. I don't know.
Yeah. And the cover didn't even really match what the story was, because the cover that was on there was just Barbie and then some of her friends, and she just ends up under the tree and then randomly sees this astronaut or spaceman, and it's Ken.
It's it's like one of the robot toys kind of goes crazy, and Ken saves her, and he's an astronaut or captain of a spaceship, I guess, and she's like, hey, let's go take a ride. And so let's go to an ice planet.
Ice Lady, her song, she kind of reminded me of Sour Grapes from Strawberry Shortcake.
From Strawberry Shortcake.
Sour grape?
But also trying to be like the snow miser. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. It just wasn't expected. And the only real Christmassy thing was when they sang Jingle Bells.
They do sing, yeah.
It seemed weird, but then when you listen to it, it was Jingle Bells, but then they had some of the lyrics that matched being in outer space and flying in a rocket.
I mean, that's what I think of when I sing Jingle Bells.
Right? We all.
That's right.
And then
that's the secret third verse that nobody ever sings.
That no one ever sings. And then she just rescues Ken from something, and then she just wakes up and realizes it was a dream, but then everything she dreamed about, someone got a robot and someone got the spaceship, and it was over. It was just, they could have done better.
I agree. I agree. And I think that other book they did do better. She actually it was just a nice, simple story. I don't know. It didn't have to be so out of this world for Barbie. I think it could have been they could have come up with something really cool, but oh well.
And maybe it was just that time because like we said, we listened to a couple of the other records we've done where it's just like
They were all strange, yeah.
strawberry shortcake, but it's not really like it maybe winter, but it's not really Christmas. And then,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just kind of one of those instead of some of the other, we've listened to a couple that were more like firmed up where it actually was more Christmassy.
Mhm. Like the Pound Puppies one was yeah. I'm sorry. I make you listen to all these.
All those barking holiday songs.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I still like you, Jerry.
One of these days we'll cover something else and we won't involve any sort of odd Christmas kid albums.
Hey.
But yeah. But no promises. I'm just kidding. But no, I think it's really cool. Barbie, I think, has endured for a reason. She's a strong, female role model. She's pretty much anything she wants to be. She can be an astronaut, a teacher, a doctor, and just a babysitter if she wants. She's pretty much just empowered to do anything, and I think that's awesome. And I think that's a good, something that little girls can look up to, and I really admire that. So I think they did a good job.
And they've been around forever, like since the 50s or.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know like my mom played with Barbies and like I think I have a couple of her old Barbies and an old Ken in my collection, and it's gone. It's just kept going.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she's definitely endured, and I am excited to see the new movie, but also I'm not, just because I was never super into Barbie, but I kind of want to see it just to see what happens, and it's gotten really good reviews, so that's amazing. I hope it continues to do well because it literally just killed the competition at the box office. So that's awesome. Yeah. It was up against Oppenheimer, and that whole Barbenheimer thing is going around, but yeah. Well, so Kim, you talked to us about planning for Christmas and things like that, but tell me about your actual show and like where can they find you and what's it about and just everything.
Yeah, so right now I'm on a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm hoping to get up and running here soonish. But planning for Christmas, so I talk about planning for Christmas kind of all through the year because when like we said, the holidays go quickly and there's always so much to do. It's like nice to get stuff going. Like for example, like I actually like found I do kind of gifts for my friends, like kind of family gifts. And so I'm gonna be doing. I found these cute. I don't think they listen to your show. If not, they'll just have that.
What? But people don't listen to my show. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Like, I don't think my friends listen to podcasts because they're not cool.
It's fine. My wife doesn't listen to my show, so it's all good.
She just hears about it all the time. But yeah, so like I found these cute little holiday waffle makers last year on sale. Towards the end of the season, so I got those, and then I'm collecting like things that go with them. So I just found some like they're red mix, like whisks and stuff. So like kind of holiday things together. So then I've got stuff like at good deals. But also like I'll have my Christmas shopping at least for that group of people done like hopefully here pretty soon.
Wow.
And then to go out and like rush, and do the holiday rush and stuff for at least everyone on my list. We always all have a little last minute shopping, but
right.
So just giving you tips on how to kind of do little things throughout the year and kind of get organized and start, especially like now thinking ahead because, we're on the downhill, we're on the slope. So it doesn't come surprise you. And like, you start seeing things in stores already. I know like fall stuff's in stores now. back to school, but then like Christmas will come right behind that. And, you just kind of got to get some of those things when you see them, because you won't necessarily be able to find them if you go back.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And I've noticed that even at our store, where people are in July, they'll come and then they're like, oh, I'll come get it like in October. And by October, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so, no, that's really good advice if you see something you like and you have the means to afford it at the time, go ahead and get it, because you don't know if it's going to be there. So that's, for sure. Very cool. Kim, it's always a pleasure talking with you. I'm so sad that we missed out on the full conversation, but I'm looking forward to covering something else with you in the future as well. So,
yeah, me too. I always love being on your show.
I have a few ideas that I'll talk to you about later.
Okay.
But thanks again for being on.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Totally Red.
Goodness. Okay. So that's the one album. Let's talk about the second album. It's Barbie's Christmas Party. And really, it's just, there's not a whole lot to the story. It's a very, very simple story. Basically,
Jared, can you read the first 3 lines of that book for me, please?
Okay.
Please, just do it.
Okay. All right, here we go. Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year. There's something about the holiday time that makes people forget about their problems and start to think about others. Since Christmas is a time of sharing, Ken and I decided to give a big Christmas party for all of our friends. Everyone was invited. PJ, Christy, Skipper, and Scott, and lots of other friends from the neighborhood. I was sure it would be a great party, but I learned something. No matter how carefully you plan, things don't always turn out the way you hope they will. Let me tell you what happened at my Christmas party.
Nice. I love that. I as soon as I was reading, because the pictures that you sent us, and I started to zoom in and read.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Barbie's talking about how she forgets her problems because of Christmas. And I just want to be like, what problems do you have, Barbie, that you need to forget about? I just need to know what problems you are currently having, because I bet you.
She doesn't know whether to wear the Malibu outfit or one of her others.
It had the nerve to snow at Christmas time, and her friends can't be with her to make
Such
her
an
more
imposition
happy.
on her. Oh my God.
And that's essentially the big problem of the story, is that it snows and she's afraid she can't have her party. Yeah.
She just can't believe that people would not be able to make it to her party in the snowstorm.
Yeah. But you're right. And before we started, Charlyn, and you and I were actually talking about this, there is something about Christmas time that can make you forget about all the problems, or anything troubling that's going on.
Yeah.
Something about the holidays, and it's just the feel and just the magic of it. Yeah. So I kind of get it, but also, yeah, you're right. Barbie doesn't have problems.
It was fun how they tried to
away
make
naked
problems.
into a child's bedroom. I think you're okay.
Well, maybe you'll have some problems then.
Maybe later, some psychological.
But yeah, so they go pick out a tree, and they decorate it. They make everything's homemade in this one. She makes her own ornaments. They string some popcorn. They string some bright red cranberries, which, I mean, if you're gonna thread some cranberries, like a needle through there, you're gonna stain a lot of stuff. So just put some towels down. Just be prepared. Don't wear your best. Just put on I don't know, a ratty clothes Barbie. And I don't know if that was a Barbie they sold. I don't think so.
No. They didn't have a homeless Barbie, just so you know. In their inclusive line, they didn't have that.
They didn't have homeless. Okay,
they weren't going that far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts to snow, and it just keeps snowing harder and harder. And I love this picture where she talks about how her party was supposed to begin at 8:00, but when it struck 9, she knew her friends weren't going to come. Because look how disappointed she looks here.
Just
her holding her head in her hand. She's just so devastated. And then they heard music, and her friends had gotten skis and sled, and they brought all the presents and had managed to make their way. I mean, of course they're late. They're walking through snow.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But they all go outside and sing Christmas carols to the neighborhood, and then they go inside and have hot chocolate and presents. And in the end, Barbie gives Ken the picture of them at the beach that he really, really loves. And in a frame, it's like the present, I guess, technically is the frame in the picture, but he loved it and he held it. I love this part. I got to read this because it's crazy. But it was Ken's reaction to the photograph I had given him that pleased me the most. Rather than getting all excited, he reached over and took my hand and thanked me so softly that only I could hear. I knew that my gift was very special to him.
Brother and sister, guys.
Yeah. Oh no.
Even without knowing about the brother-sister thing, because I knew about the Barbara thing, but I didn't know that Ken was the brother. But even without that, that part felt like a little creepy. It was like, okay, like he didn't have to he could have just said thank you. He didn't have to like whisper in her ears and everybody else could hear. Why?
To be so tender and intimate in like the middle of a huge party. Yeah. Oh goodness. But anyway, so there's that story. That's pretty much it after that. Everybody had a good time, and I guess it stopped snowing, so they were able to go home. But yeah, those are those two albums. But before we wrap things up, I want to talk about Holiday Barbie. So we kind of briefly mentioned it. I want to look through some of the dresses. So I sent you an article. It's like the history of Holiday Barbie. We'll just take a look at the first couple here. So 1988. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's looking back on the styles of the time, but it's a really, really like frilly dress. Just I think it's made of tulle, and it's all red with a big white bow in the middle, and the ribbons, like I don't know, the tails of the bow, is that what they're called? They just hang all the way down the dress, and then she's got like just big poofy shoulder straps.
Adds like shoulder. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and then the big white bow on her hair, and her hair is very like oh gosh, what was
Vanna White?
Vanna White. That's a good one. Yeah, it's I was thinking like Lonnie Anderson.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one too. Not my favorite, but like that's the one that started it all, 1988.
Yeah. It looks like that era. Like it's what I would expect.
Yeah.
For Christmas, for a Christmas doll at that time.
Yeah. So 1989 it's a lot of lace. It's like gold lace over like a white tulle, I don't know, under whatever it's called. Not a slip, but it's part of the dress. And then she has like a little gold kind of like cape or capelet, whatever they're called, and a big gold bow in her hair. Which one do you prefer of the two so far?
Oh, the first one.
I was going to say the red one. Yeah.
Okay.
That first one.
Okay. I have no idea. I can't tell. I mean, to me,
come on, Jerry. Which one would you choose?
I mean, like, if like, which one would I wear, or if she came up to me?
Which one would you wear, Jerry?
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta go with red. Yeah. It brings out.
Come on, Jerry. You can rock. You can rock the.
I
red,
can rock
totally.
some red. I actually can rock some red. Yeah.
It's like, I like the gold overlay of the second one, but that's probably it.
Yeah.
Like, everything else was like, I don't know what that collar's doing. It's like, I don't even know what that is. But yeah.
Well, and this is why I wanted to have you on the show, because I knew you're into fashion. I was like, she's gonna like let us know what's hip and what's not, because I don't. I really don't. If it's up to me, I wear a t-shirt and jeans like all day long. So I got to know what's fashionable here. 1990 Holiday Barbie. I think it's a red, but it almost looks more like a hot pink or like a fuchsia kind of color.
That's what I was gonna say, fuchsia kind of.
Yeah.
From this picture.
I like the glitter and the snowflakes. That's interesting. But again, and I know it's from the time. Again, it's like with the big shoulders, cuffs.
That's coming back too.
Is it really?
On runways, you see like big emphasized shoulders a lot.
Oh
lately.
no.
Yeah.
Oh Oh,
Not
goodness.
exactly like this though. They are doing it a little more modern, but
I gotcha. Well, and I feel like, nowadays, or at least in the last few years, we would have seen like more straight lines, more angles, whereas this is just kind of very frilly, which again makes sense because it's of the audience that it's aimed for,
Yeah.
But still, and I like the snowflake kind of accents around there.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, if
Accents.
it wasn't for the snowflakes, like how would that be holiday Barbie? Just tell me.
Well,
Yeah, that's the
and you're right
only
about that. Yeah.
way you can tell.
Please.
Otherwise, it could have been Valentine's Day Barbie.
Right?
Like it could have.
That's true. Yeah. All right, just a few more here. We won't go through too many. Let's look at 1991 because this one is interesting. It's almost like a velvet, like a green. I mean, I don't know if it's velvet. It looks like velvet.
It looks like it.
Yeah, and it's got like red and white and polka dots. Are those polka dots?
They look like, I think they were gems, like they were shiny gems.
Oh,
Almost
like bedazzled kind of
diamonds.
things. I
Yeah, they're
gotcha.
supposed to be diamonds,
I gotcha. Yeah. This one again with the big like shoulder thing.
Yeah.
But she actually has like full sleeves here, whereas the other ones she didn't. So it feels a little more like Disney princess and less big poofy 80s debutante. You know what I mean?
Debutante, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I like this one for Christmas a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though it's kind of like it's out there, it's a lot, but on purpose. But at least it's more Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
I agree.
There's bows on every one.
Bows. Yeah, they all
bows were a thing. I know, but
they were.
But it's just
gigantic bows. Yeah, they're huge. Like if you look at the bow that she's wearing, it's almost. I mean, it's like almost twice as big as her face.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
In length. Yeah. Can you imagine wearing that? Like so far, of the ones we've looked at so far, which one would you guys wear?
I'm just gonna pick this the one we're just talking about now.
I think so too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do two more real quick, and then we'll move on. We'll start wrapping it up here. So, 1992 is really interesting. She's got like some. I mean, it's all silver and white. She's got like some gems kind of dangling down.
Chandelier gems.
Yeah, right. It does kind of look like chandelier. It's almost like they were going for like an icy, snowy kind of look.
Yeah,
but it
Snow
just
Queen.
it feels that's a Snow Queen. Yeah, that's I'm gonna say, I think you're right. This is what the Snow Queen was wearing, and Barbie stole her look.
Right.
She's like, who wore it better?
Right. That's why they don't like each other.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, this one I think is out of all of them so far is my least favorite. That's I don't know. It's weird. But she doesn't have the bow, so there's that. She has almost like a little tiara.
Yeah, I probably like that better.
I bet you she's got one on her back that we can't see. It's definitely like tying up like on her like back end of her back. Like it's there. Come on.
That's probably true.
It probably is.
That is probably true. All right, this will be the last one, 1993. So again, this one big and poofy, and there's like I don't know, leaf or like flower petal corsets. Everything looks like flower petals to me.
Yeah. I was looking to see like were they going for poinsettia, but
maybe
you're
right. You're right. Yeah, it's almost like she's a giant poinsettia. Which, okay.
We're underwhelmed with this one. Clearly, it's like I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. It's
like,
haute couture. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. When you don't understand, that's what
I want to end it. I want to end it on a high note. So let's look at 1994 because
that's the only holiday Barbie I ever had was 1990.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
I was hoping you would go.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that one because this one actually looks not only Christmassy but like very much princessy, like royalty. It's all gold. It's got like the I don't know what it's called, but it splits in the middle, and it's lined with or trimmed with like a faux fur.
Yeah.
it really looks very regal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very holiday, very like still winter as well. Yeah, this one is like perfect.
Well, and I like it because it's got like the little sprigs of holly, like
Yeah.
with the berries right there where the capey or whatever shoulder things are. Long sleeves again. It's like a V down the front, and then she's got red buttons, and then of course sparkles because you got to have lots of sparkles. But I also like that she's wearing a tiara and not a big old bow. So
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks much better. This
Yeah,
is
it
when
really
I feel like
does.
it's like maybe well, I guess before that they didn't have a bow either. But yeah, and this is when they maybe were getting away from that a little bit more and doing different things. Because even later on that she would have hats on, like the like fur lined hat.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe we're getting away from the bows at this point.
Yeah.
Looking at these, there are some that are really elegant, like 1999 with the blue, I really dig. But then there are some that are just weird.
Yeah, like that
The
black and
2000
pink.
one is really neat too.
The 97 one is odd.
yeah.
It looks like ribbon. Which one? 2001?
No, 2000.
Oh, 2000. Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
2002 is not bad. 2003 actually, she looks like she reminds me of like Elsa or something, you know.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. But anyway, so I just want to that's just a quick brief look at some of these holiday Barbies here. I do got to ask you, what would you say would be your happiest memory or moment with Barbie?
Waking up on Christmas morning and actually having that be like the gift that I would ask Santa for, and I got it. Those are probably my favorite memories, because I did, like, at the time you don't realize what your parents go through to get certain things like that.
Right.
And that was probably the beginning of when it got crazy in stores for certain things. But yeah, I think those are some of my best memories with Barbie, getting them on Christmas.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Ashley?
Well, I guess I kind of like gently talked about my like really good experience with Barbie and that situation with my dad, but like likewise, I always associate Barbie and Barbie and Christmas, and not so much like Barbie and birthdays. I always found that like when I got Barbies, it was more like it was from like Santa, or like I got the Barbie dream house, very, very like exciting. And that was like for Christmas. So I always associate Barbie and Christmas, because that's when I got like those larger ticket items. And yeah, so it's, those are my happiest moments.
That's awesome. So like thinking back, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't play with Barbies. I just remember buying them for girls whenever we were invited to their parties, because I didn't know what else. I didn't know what girls like. I think for me, what I remember most is when my oldest daughter, I think when she turned 4 for Christmas, she got the Barbie dream house, and she was like over the moon, and she immediately played with it. And my aunt, who had collected a bunch of Coca-Cola Barbies, actually let her pick one. And so she picked one, and she got to play with it and played with all the rest. And yeah. And so it's still, even though she's 11 and she's going to middle school, and it's, she's transitioning away from that, it's still in her room.
Yeah.
And, randomly I still see her every once in a while. I'll peek in, and she'll still be playing with it. And so it kind of warms my heart.
Cute.
I know.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh.
Because I know
Can
go for
I
it.
share something? As you were talking about like gifting your daughter at 4. So my niece's birthday, my great niece's birthday is today.
Okay.
And I got her first Barbie, but I got her like the Barbie dreams, the Barbie like dream car. And I want to share the face that she made when she opened it.
Whoa, love it. That's amazing.
So she's 4 and she just got gifted her first Barbie, and I didn't know how she was going to feel about them, because she's never really played with them, was never really given them. Right. So I was like, oh, is it going to be hit or miss? And like, she's like ripping it out of the box. Like, it just like was like nostalgia, remembering like I was probably about that age when I got my first Barbie too. And so I can just imagine. And then, thinking about how when she's older, like she's going to get to grow with them, and like they will grow with her. And that's kind of like
yeah, that's sweet.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. But Now we come to my favorite part of the show, which is a little segment I like to call Gag Me with the Spoon. So this is where we do our best impression of our least favorite part of something Barbie. In this case, it'll probably be that Christmas album that we talked about, because there's a lot of least favorite parts for me, at least. Even though I know it's a very beloved thing. And so I don't want to talk bad about it. But anyway, I do have a few, and it was hard to choose because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do. As a guest, I'll let you go first, just kind of set up the scene for us, and we'll go from there.
I picked when Tobar the robot died, or
that was mine.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, I'll do a little part of the beginning. You can finish up if you want.
Nice. Okay.
I wrote it down. This is because it was so funny because I was not expecting it, but Tobar the robot says, "Forgive me for this robot voice too, but regret malfunction, unable to stop. I am Tobar. I am not programmed for violence."
Good robot
I
voice.
love that. That was good.
Oh.
Okay. I'll finish the second half because this was exactly the same thing. As soon as it came on, I was like, yo, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then that's when I put why is it that robots are always taking over the 80s? Because it just seemed like
it's true.
Yes.
The Rocky thing that we did, there was robots, that weird Santa thing that we did, like, there was robots there, like there was just so many robots.
Oh, the Chuck E. Cheese one?
Yes, the Chuck E. Cheese one, yes. Weird.
Yeah, 80s and robots. Yeah. I mean, the Terminator, RoboCop. I mean,
robots
everywhere. Short Circuit was huge.
Yeah. Yes.
Johnny Five.
That's right, Johnny Five.
Oh my God.
Gotta love 80s robots. All right, so go. So you'll do the other half then. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll do the other half. I'm not gonna be able to top your robot voice, but I'm gonna try.
It was a good robot voice. Yeah.
It was solid. Batteries failing, 4D cell robot designed to meet all current safety standards. I am Tobar. That was him dying at the end.
Part. That's hilarious.
I know. It's such a
So full disclosure, I almost did pick that part. I really did. In the end, I had to go with Captain Ken. So this is when they land on the planet, and he's like, well, we do have an ulterior motive for coming here. He's talking to the Snow Queen, and she's like, I knew it. And she's getting upset, and he tries to calm her, and he says, oh no, your glacial grandness, you mistake our nature. We are simple music lovers. Your beautiful voice is fabled through the farthest reaches of the universe. It's like the schmooziest, schmaltziest. I mean, it's like, okay.
Brown nose thing.
Exactly. This guy.
Nope.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was it was like, oof, okay.
There were a lot of gag me with a spoon gems.
I agree. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard. This time it wasn't so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. But, it does make me wonder. G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you guys think is the other half?
The other half of the battle is putting on some skis to just get out there in the snowstorm on Christmas Eve and be with your friends.
It's true.
I would say that the other half is making sure that your window is closed so that creepy things don't happen to you in your sleep.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I shut my doors, I turn my alarm on, and that's I'm safe.
Exactly.
Those are both great. So I said, if knowing's half the battle, the other half is just getting meta with your Barbie plots.
Yes.
It seems like it's a requirement. Guys, it's been so much fun talking to you about this, but you have some great shows. Tell me about your shows. Like what do you want to plug?
Well, I have a podcast and YouTube channel, Take a Chic Peek. That's at Take a Chic Peek, almost everywhere. And I also I started this for fun, and it is going to be a podcast as well. I do have one episode up, but there will be more coming. It's And This Christmas Will Be. I'm on social media, and I have been actually just playing around with it for a while because it was making me happy in the midst of some trials. And so, yeah, so it's just Christmas from my point of view, and I post Christmas content every single day. I've been trying to be really good about that. But I find it's not even hard because it was like lifting my spirits. So yeah, And This Christmas Will Be on Instagram. It's a little different on other social media, but you'll find it.
Nice. I'm going to go look. You can find me only on Instagram. I do not have any other social media platforms. It is at the Magic of the Season podcast. And I was posting once a month, but June I broke that. We were going through some stuff and house hunting, and so life got taken away from me. But I am hoping, because I just got my 400th follow. I know it's not much, but I decided that I would release kind of a collaborative June, July, like Father's Day, Canada Day thing. So I'll be posting then. And then once a month, hopefully I can catch back up. And then the Burr months are coming, and hopefully I'll post a lot more. But yeah, just Christmas content from my point of view as well. And yeah, check me out.
I have listened to a couple of your episodes as well, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I listened to the first one, and I listened to the one with Anthony and Kim on it.
Oh, cool.
But yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Nice.
That's I didn't realize you had your own Christmas show. I would have mentioned that in the begining. I feel so bad.
No, I didn't tell anybody really. So you don't have to feel bad at all. I just was doing it, and I didn't know if it was going to be a thing or if it was just going to be for fun. But I feel like it's become a thing for me. So
right on.
Well, just do it. Yeah.
Well, followed.
Yeah, I'm doing this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I have you followed. That's why.
I was going to say, I think that you already are following me.
Yeah, I was. I looked it up. I was like, oh, let me look it up. And then, wait a minute.
Yeah. I've interacted with you a little bit, but you didn't know it was me.
No, I didn't. I was like, oh, this person, awesome. Very cool. Very cool.
I love it.
And you're on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Yep. Doing a countdown to Christmas too. So
that's you posting those countdowns.
Yeah.
I love them. Every time I see them, I'm like, I love this more than anything. Because I love the little, like the twinkle, and it goes around in a circle.
Yeah.
It absolutely captures me. I love it so much.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad.
Very cool. And guys, it's been just a blast talking to you about this.
Yeah.
Barbie is awesome. The album, not so much, but it can be
forgiven.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was entertaining.
Exactly. But on that note, I want to say thanks again.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Thank you, Jerry.
And I'll end it with,
oh dear.
Everyone knows that friendship is the nicest gift of all. So check us out on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram at Totally Rad Christmas, Twitter at Rad Christmas, Mastodon at Totally Rad Christmas at mastodon.world, Blue Sky at radchristmas.bsky.social, or our Facebook group, Totally Rad Christmas Mall and Arcade, where you can make your voice known to us as well. We post anything and everything 80s or Christmas related. And if you're feeling like Barbie, waking from her Christmas dream, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com, courtesy of 'Tis the Podcast Elf, Tom Crow. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a safe night. Later, dudes.